an organisation when asking your question. Novak, just give us your initial thoughts on the match.
Kind of two different matches, last night and today. Completely different conditions, playing under the roof, more humid, more slippery, and I would say, obviously no wind, so a bit easier for the rhythm for the serve. At the same time, a bit slower from the back of the court and more rallies. Today, completely different, very, very windy. Difficult to get the rhythm and tempo on the toss, but it didn't seem to affect him much. I thought that maybe that could be my chance to really start reading his serve a bit better, but that wasn't the case. I mean, he was serving incredibly well. I don't recall being so helpless on the return games, to be honest. I mean, I knew that he's a big server and he's a fantastic player on the grass particularly, but I didn't expect him to serve this well and this accurate. So credit to him, and it was a very, very close match. It could have gone different way. Absolutely, he had his chances, particularly in the first set tiebreaker. But I guess in the important moments, particularly in the fourth, I've managed to read his serve, make that break that was key to success.
Congratulations. Yours was the second match in 4 days where the curfew has suspended the match to the next day. And grass court matches are taking longer and longer these days.
Yeah.
I just wonder, should Wimbledon reconsider that 1:30 start and maybe bring it forward at the early part of the championships because matches are taking too long now?
I think so. I agree with that. Obviously, curfew is probably something that is much more difficult to change. I understand because of the community and the residential area we're in, but I think the matches could be pushed at least the start at 12 o'clock. I think it would make a difference.
I know, during that third set, there was some big frustration on your side, and it completely gone away in the fourth at the start. I'm just always curious about what the inner, dialogue you had with yourself on that chair. So
You don't want to know.
Yes, I do.
No, I mean, look, I go through my moments. I think it's in a matches like this where you don't have many chances at all on the service games of your opponent, and then when they're presented, you don't use them, and then the pressure builds up. I don't have as strong of a serve that Hurkacz has, so I had to probably work a bit more for my service games, and I knew that. So eventually, that pressure that builds up just goes out, and I was frustrated the way I played that last game of the third set, but also credit to him, he played really, really good game. I was a bit passive, and the set was gone. I thought I liked my chances going into tiebreak in the third set. That's why I was of course more frustrated. But after that, I just regrouped and I said, okay, we'll start from scratch. And I don't know. I felt I felt a bit more energetic, a bit more, I would say, in balance, especially in the return in the fourth set. And the 3-3 game was a great return game because he was making most of his first serves, but I was managing to read and anticipate. It's kind of a gamble, really, I mean, with him, because he hits all angles and he's so precise, and he hits over 130 miles basically every serve. So it's kind of a good luck and choose a side type of thing, So I was fortunate there to read his serve and get into the rally, which I always wanted. I think I like my chances in the rally, but I thought also he played much better from the baseline today than he did last night. So just a very, very close match and amazing battle.
Just on the scheduling, when you're in the third slot in centre court at the moment, can you just describe how challenging it is as to the uncertainty surrounding when do you start, when do you warm up, and will I even finish the match tonight? How difficult is that to deal with?
Well, I mean, once the time is over 20 hours, so it's over 8 o'clock, that there's a high probability you won't finish your match. That was the case against Wawrinka and against Hurkacz. Both of the matches started almost 9 o'clock, actually. It was 20 to 9 or something like this, or 8:30 that we walked out on the court. And I warmed up for both of those matches, I think around 1 o'clock or something like this. And then, should you go back to your accommodation, the house, here nearby, or should you stay? Then yesterday I decided to stay. And so I stayed basically, for 7 hours waiting for my match to start. And that's a lot, because you think you never know what's going to happen. And then today I'm thinking, okay, I have at least an hour and a half. And then after 20 minutes, my match is called because there was a retirement in the ladies match before us. So it's tennis, that's the unpredictability of tennis in a way. You have to, be ready for both scenarios. When I saw the matches that were played before me yesterday with Rublev, Bublik, and Swiatek, Bencic, I thought that those matches could be long matches, but then you don't know that, right? You can only predict, but it's never a guarantee. So yeah, it's tricky, especially if there's a lot of players and a lot of staff members of the respective players' teams, and they all occupy spaces for rest, and it's not easy to find a corner where you can just be by yourself. But that's okay, in the end of the day, it is what it is. You have to adapt, and it's not the first, probably neither the last time that I get to experience this kind of particular circumstances. But Wimbledon has been so attached, I would say, connected with its tradition and history, and not changing certain things, which I respect a lot. I think they're wonderful things to keep with the history of, like, defending champion going out on the first day. Even though it was nice for us to get a chance in the last couple of years to practice on the center court before the tournament starts, I have to say I'm not a fan of that. I would rather have no practice at all on the center court before the tournament starts. And I think that would help the court. And it also is the most sensitive surface we have in sports. So you can feel the grass wearing out even after few practice sessions already, getting the beating from the sliding and running and so forth. So yeah, I mean, we just answered to your colleague. I think there are different ways that I'm sure that they will address this issue and try to avoid having this kind of problems in the future.
The number 23 has an exalted status in the United States, and now you have it, of course, on your shoes. What are your thoughts on the shoes you're wearing with 23, and what will you do with them if and when you reach 24?
My thoughts on wearing the shoes with 23. I think there's not much to say about that. I think the number speaks for itself. That's why we've done it, and I'm grateful to ASICS. I didn't even know, actually. They surprised me a few days before the tournament started, and I think it's cool. It's nice to kind of mark the achievement, historic achievement in this way. Well, obviously, if it happens in less than a week time that I reach the 24, then we'll have to use the 24. I guess it's not going to be it's not going to be a big problem to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what I can say. I mean, I'm very proud of the achievement, obviously, but I'm already with my thoughts on this tournament and trying to make the most out of it.
Is there time for him to address his next opponent?
Okay. Yes. Andrei Rublev is a fantastic player who's got one of the best forehands in the game. Brings a lot of intensity to the court. With his grunts, he kind of scares off his opponents across the net. And extremely nice guy, very nice person, and works as hard as anybody out there to be a top 10 player, which he has been for the last several years. And he's one of the most consistent players on all surfaces. I have a lots of respect for him. I was surprised that he has actually never reached the semifinals of a Grand Slam, which obviously will serve as a motivation more for him tomorrow to be inspired and play his best tennis. Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm gonna have to prepare myself tactically differently for Rublev than I have for Hurkacz. He doesn't have as powerful serve as Hurkacz does, but he definitely has quicker hands and just a very powerful game from the baseline. So yeah, I'll hope to recover and be as fresh as I possibly can be tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Schrijf je een beetje erop.